I know a lot of you are excited for TNA coming back. I've seen a lot of you on social media make some requests now that TNA is back. Some of you want the six-sided ring back. Hell, there's some of you out there that want TNA to bring back the King of the Mountain match. I say screw all that. TNA, bring back the Steel Asylum match. Yeah, that's what I want. I think people want that as well. Come on, TNA. No more effing around. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your TNA Hard to Kill 2024 preview video here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel. I am Steve, and if you are new here, hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media. And wherever it is that you share videos with all your wrestling friends, this is completely optional, but it'll be very, very appreciated. Become an ATP channel member for only $2.99 a month. You get all these perks such as bonus content and early access to videos such as this one right now. You're getting this later on tonight on January 11th. For non-members, you're getting this on January 12th, sometime in the afternoon. But if you want to see this once I make the announcement on Twitter, become a channel member, $2.99 a month. Listen, I'm just excited. TNA is back. Even though Impact Wrestling's been around for so long now, but they're going back to their original name, TNA. And I know for a lot of people, for so many years, those three letters, we're like, it's time to move on, right? But they're going back to the roots, if you will. And when I think of TNA, I just, it brings back memories for me. It brings back to middle school me when I was watching TNA on Fox Sports for like the hour episodes. I saw the X Division, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Matt Bentley, the Canadian Destroyer for the first time. I thought that was just amazing to see. The Ultimate X matches, the Alpha Male Monty Brown, so many memories too, such as Elix Skipper walking the cage, Kurt Angle's TNA debut, when they finally went to Spike TV in 2005 on a Saturday. I used to watch all this stuff, right? And it was like the good old days of TNA. And somewhere along the way, things started to, go all over the place, right? But now, with Scott D'Amore and Anthem, right, taking over the company, they've managed to clean up their image. And the one thing I've always said about Impact Wrestling, the wrestling's always been great. The problem is there was just no buzz. People really weren't like going crazy for it or demanding for it until we saw Bound for Glory, right? And they made the big announcement that TNA is coming back 2024, Hard to Kill. And they are literally already off to a great start, and the show hasn't even started yet. On social media alone, they have showcased the new titles. And from what I've seen, these new belts look amazing, especially that world title, a chef's kiss, right? The tag team titles, I love the fact that it's on a red strap. The women's knockouts title also looks nice. Keep in mind, I have not yet seen the women's knockout tag titles yet. I've seen the digital media belt. It looks okay for what it was. Probably, to be honest with you, my least favorite out of all the belts that they've showcased so far. But that's just me, of course. But the world title looks amazing, and the tag titles on the red strap looks beautiful. I look forward to watching the show on Saturday night. I am still debating whether we're going to still do a watch along or probably do a post show. I'm still debating. I will keep you guys posted sometime tomorrow or early Saturday. I will let you guys know on social media, on Twitter at HeelSteven. Also, follow the Around the Point Network on Twitter at AT Network as well. There are literally, I'm looking at this 10 matches. 3 of them will be on the pre-show, it looks like. Overall, listen, the card itself, it looks stacked. TNA, they are not effing around. They are literally going crazy with this card. Like literally putting all their cards on the table. And here, you guys watch, enjoy Saturday night. And keep in mind, there's already so much stuff happening on Saturday, right? You have New Japan, Battle in the Valley, AEW doing Collision, and then they're doing Battle of the Belts. And then you have TNA Hard to Kill. I'm going to watch Hard to Kill on Saturday night. That's for sure. Let's get on to this. We have Rich Swann versus Steve Macklin going at it. Here's the thing, right? Why this on the pre-show is beyond me. This should be main card. You have two former world champions going at it, right? Steve Macklin, former world champion, Rich Swann, former world champion. They're gonna probably again put on a good match all you want. For me, though, who wins this is Steve Macklin. I think, his run as champion, I've always felt was cut short. And I do think, putting him in that world title picture or competing for the world title in 2024 is the way to go, for me at least. But nevertheless, I do expect these guys put on a good match. I don't agree with this being on the pre-show, but I get it. You got to find a way to get everyone on the show. And this is best case scenario for them, I guess. So be it. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers teaming up to go up against the team of Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian, two TNA originals going up against basically the Impact Wrestling of today's, crop of talent here. Eddie Edwards, we all know, former world champion in his own right, X Division champion, also a champion in Pro Wrestling Noah. Brian Myers as well. Again, someone who's been around for such a long time as well. I've always enjoyed Eddie's work. It's crazy to think that, he showed up with Davey in 2014 and yet he is still there, right? It's crazy. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that in a negative way at all, right? But nevertheless, as far as this match goes, again, you also have Eric Young, former world champion in his own right. I remember the days of Psycho EY, right? And his classics with Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode and all that stuff. Kazarian just came back to Impact a couple of years ago after being in AEW. It didn't work out, but here he is in Impact Wrestling, TNA now, and has been tearing it up as well in his own right. So as far as, and also, again, a former X Division champion as well. As far as a winner here, I'm going to go with Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards to get the W here. Should be a fun match, nevertheless. From there, we go on to Tommy Dreamer versus Crazy Steve in a no disqualification match for the TNA Digital Media Championship. I said this before when I was talking about the belts. Probably my most least favorite out of all the belts that they showcased, that they, showed us brand new, is the digital media belt. That being said, for me, it's time for Crazy Steve. Tommy Dreamer's held that belt now. It felt like for the last couple of months now, it's time to move on, give it to somebody new. I remember Crazy Steve back in the day being part of the Menagerie, right? And then formed Decay and all the great stuff that Decay did with the Hardys back in the day, Decay and Delete, and all these cinematic matches, and also with Abyss, don't forget that as well, and Rosemary. So, nevertheless, it's time for Crazy Steve 2024. Let's go. Josh Alexander versus Alex Hammerstone. Alex Hammerstone, who was an MLW, former MLW champion. Josh Alexander himself, former world champion in Impact Wrestling. These two guys can go out there and easily have the match of the night. Hands down. Hands down. Expect the crazy near falls here. I'm not sure if this opens the show. I doubt it. But I'm going off cage match. And y'all know certain promoters love cage match. So I'm just going on their order. Okay. But this could very well, like I mentioned moments ago, be the match of the night. Josh Alexander issued an open challenge and Hammerstone answered it. So I don't know as well if Hammerstone is going to be signed to TNA. They have mentioned in the promotion of the show, you just don't know who's showing up. We already know it's Hammerstone. I just don't see him being their big sign. I mean, nevertheless, if they end up signing him, good for them. But I just don't think he is their big signing that they've been mentioning on stuff. So with that being said, as far as a winner goes, I'm going to go with Josh Alexander to get the win. From there, we go to PCO versus Dirty Dango, who will be accompanied by Alpha Bravo and Oleg Prudius, the former Alexander Kozlov. This should be fine for what it is. I understand, to my understanding, PCO just resigned, so wouldn't be surprised if he wins. So I'm gonna go with PCO in that one. PCO should get the win. There we go to the TNA Knockouts world title #1 contendership match in a Ultimate X match for that matter. It's Alicia Edwards versus Giselle Shaw versus Zaya Brookside versus Danny Luna versus Tasha Steeles, who if I remember correctly, won the very first Knockouts Ultimate X match versus Jody Threat. You know, the one thing about TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call them still, right? Their women's division, not to be messed with. You go back to the days of Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, the beautiful people, and so on and so forth. You already know you're going to get good matches, right? I expect them to go out there and give it their all. I'm not expecting to see magistry like AJ Styles and PD Williams here, but nevertheless, they should go out there and give it their all, have a good showing here. As far as who wins this, honestly, I'm going to go with Giselle Shaw. I think Giselle Shaw, it's her time. I think it's time that, you know what, in 2024, she should be the champion, the Knockouts champion. So be it. And depending who is the champion coming out of, Hard to Kill, we'll see what happens. But nevertheless, as far as the winner goes, I'm going to go with Giselle Shaw. From there, we go to the tag team title match. You have ABC of Ace Austin and Chris Bay defending those new beautiful tag team titles against the grizzled young veterans of James Drake and Zach Gibson versus the Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz versus Speedball Mountain of Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. You're about to get crazy balls to the wall, back and forth, high spot maneuvers here in this match. That's what you're about to get. This could be that match where everyone just goes insane as far as the crowd goes, right? And also factor in the Grizzly Young Veterans. They're on this tour, right? And now they're in TNA. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they end up winning the match and giving them a run with those tag titles, right? I don't know if they're going to be signed or not, but likely on appearance deal, right? Here and there, but give them a run with it. Why not? I'll be okay with that too. From there, we go on to the X Division title match, triple threat. Chris Sabin defending the title against Kushida and El Hijo del Vikingo. You're talking about three of the best high flyers, right? Chris Sabin, who's been there since day one, former Impact World Champion. Remember when he beat Bully Ray? Remember that? He used option C, right? He beat Bully Ray when Bully Ray was at the point of Aces and Eights at Destination X 2013, right? It was like an Impact episode. I remember, and everyone went just crazy. I could be wrong on Destination X, but it was an Impact episode. He cashed in option C, and everyone just went insane. Like, how could this even happen, right? But nevertheless, he's a former world champion, right? Tag team champion, has done it all, right? You have the Hijo del Vikingo, who in a lot of people's, opinion, he is right now the best high flyer right now. When he's out there in the ring, whether it's an AEW and AAA, Ring of Honor, whatever it may be, or on the independent scene, he goes ape shit. Just insane high flying maneuvers here, right? And then you have Kushida, who was at one point in New Japan the ace of the junior heavyweights. And here he is now. He's signed to Impact, also working with New Japan here and there. It should be a very, very fun match. I don't think Vikingo's winning because I don't think he is signed to TNA here. So as far as a win, honestly, I would love to see Kushida get the win. Because why not? Kushida holding that title for a bit, I'm all for it. So let's see what happens with that. From there, we go on to the co-main event. We have Trinity defending the TNA Knockouts World title against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace, who won the Collier Shot Battle Royal at Bound for Glory. She said that she would cash in her contract, that for that matter, right, against Trinity at Hard to Kill. This should be a very good match, right? Again, Jordynne Grace, a former Knockouts champion. Trinity has been tearing it up on Impact, TNA, right? There's also word going around that she is heading back to WWE. So if that is true, obviously Trinity's losing, right? But don't be surprised if TNA, they let her win just for her to drop it the next day at the tapings. So we'll see what happens. But for me, I'm going to go with Jordynne Grace and New. And then we get the main event of the evening for the TNA World title. Alex Shelley defending the world title against Moose. Moose won the Feast or Fire briefcase number 2 at Impact 1000. It's like the briefcase landed in his hands, and that's how he won it, basically, right? And he said he was going to challenge Alex Shelley at Hard to Kill. And again, it should be a very fun match. Good back and forth, right? I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought at Bound for Glory, Alex Shelley was going to lose to Josh Alexander. And that didn't happen. And also, don't forget, Moose, the former world champion. I remember, like in 2020, he was repping the TNA world title on the white strap. And for Alex Shelley, do we continue this run with him as champion, or do you give it to Moose? Do you have Moose now get the belt, take this company to, into 2024 with him as champion? I say Alex Shelley retains. I think Alex Shelley retains here, and you go on to 2024 with him as champion. Hey, as far as a signing goes, like who is signed to the company, like surprise appearances here and there, likely Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, or maybe Mustafa Ali. And you could do Mustafa Ali versus Alex Shelley. I'm all for that. I'm all on board for that because I'm aware on the next day they have Okada being there, Will Ospreay. Can you imagine if they do Will Ospreay versus Alex Shelley? Even though we all know Will Ospreay signed to AEW, right? But you never know. Or Okada, right? Okada, who said he hates TNA, but here he is showing up, right? The next day for the tapings because they do have Battle in the Valley in California. So anything's possible. Nevertheless, this show I'm looking so forward to. It should be a good one. Again, TNA's back. I'm happy. Nostalgia, right? The good old days. I'm still not sure yet what's going to be the plan, whether we will be doing a watch along or a post show. We will let you all know. I will let you all know on social media. Make sure, again, you follow me at Heel Steven, and I'll let you guys know. Again, if you are a ATP channel member, you're getting this video earlier than everyone else on January 11th, sometime in the evening. But if you are not a channel member, you should join. $2.99 a month. You get all these perks such as early access to videos, bonus streams, and whatnot. But if you're not a channel member, it's okay. It's okay. You'll get this on January 12th, sometime in the afternoon time, okay? But let me know in the chat or in the comments. I'm so used to streaming, okay? Let me know your thoughts. What's your match predictions and all that fun stuff. Follow me on Twitter at Heel Steven. Follow the Around the Point Network on Twitter at AT Point Network. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.